Well, good evening, greetings and salutations and all that good stuff. And thank you, Mizzle, for always chiming in. Don't work too hard, and hopefully you don't have to do a whole lot of cleaning. And welcome to episode 115 of The Other Side of the Ball. Hi, I'm the shiny bald head, joined by the other shiny bald head, which gives us two shiny bald heads on this show. Well, I stand corrected. I apologize, sir.
Don't say it.
No, I'm not going to say it. All I said was just two shiny bald heads. That's all I said.
Okay.
Well,
We'll run
well,
with that.
well. Thank you for chiming in, Missile. But yes, welcome. As today, whenever the rest of the council decides to get here,
I
we
think
shall.
Derek will not be joining us.
That we know, but of course, before we got on the air, Mr. Corey Price and Mr. Corey A. Smith Hammond were having a back and forth, passionate discussion, if you will, about something. But
Passionate is definitely the word to use.
But I will say that I would like to report today that I did not have to spend 2 hours and 22 minutes in cowboy traffic today. I got home at a very nice time. So
Nice.
so that's a good thing. Appreciate it, but of course, Miz will go do the family thing and all that good fun stuff. So again, today's topic of today is again the top 7 running backs of 2024, and there was a lot to choose from. And now, I will say, and I do understand why, but I know we want to give others that have not been nominated a chance to get nominated or be a part of this countdown. But there's a lot of good backs left off this list that are very deserving of an honorable mention of this list. So I'll just leave it at that.
There's some guys I think that you would agree. There's some guys that were left off the list that were.
I will say this, Mizzle. He's definitely on the countdown.
Yes, that's all we'll say.
He's definitely on the countdown for sure.
Life is hacking up along back here.
Life is lifing.
She just said sorry. So the people that were left off this list, and I've kind of looked at it and kind of went over it myself a couple of times, and yeah, there's a couple of guys that were left off that I thought deserved to be on, and then there's a couple of guys that got injured that I understand why they were left off. So
correct.
Makes sense.
Mr. Reeves, you missed that list already. That's on previous episodes because it was a combined defensive lineman / linebackers list. So that episode has been done already.
And by the way, wasn't he on the list?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was on the list. So
he might.
You were on, sir. You were on the list. I'm surprised you didn't hear it. At least rewatched it by now. I mean, you were definitely on the list.
Okay, you are okay. So, just to go back, so you were on, sir. That was episode. Going down the line here. That was episode 109. Episode 109. That was DL and linebackers.
There you go. I'm just gonna put.
Yeah. Episode 109, Mr. Reeves, aka Dark Kent.
Once you search, all you have to do is go find episode 109, and you are on that list, my friend.
On the Other Side of the Ball page, on the Other Side of the Ball network on YouTube, where you can catch all of our live episodes, if you will. But there was some announcements that we will get into before the other panel joins us. Sadly to say, folks, for this year, or should I say next year, in January, there will not be a Winter War. We apologize for the inconvenience. So instead, we will be doing a 2-day tournament in February on the 1st and the 2nd. So here it is. It is Winter War, $1,000 starting cash prize. Games will be roughly 50 minutes each. Full A7 streaming and commentary. So yes, you will hear myself and Chris, and possibly the Asgardian.
If he falls back down,
if he comes back,
Asgard.
if he comes back down from Asgard, he will join us. So it is A7 rules, tackle rules with the throw off. It is 2 20-minute halves like college basketball, with running
like flag football.
With running clocks, 45-second play clock for conversions, a 45-second play clock for throw-offs, 5-minute half times, 2-minute warning each half. As mentioned, A7 tackle rules, players with $1,000 team registration, 25 players max. As Mr. Hammond does now join us. Also,
there he is.
That gonna go back. Okay, so $250 per team added to the cash prize. Now, players who register by the 28th of this month, which is on a Saturday, December 28th is on a Saturday.
Thank you.
Players who register by the 28th who qualify for free Nevada health insurance for 2025. That is A7 or equivalent uniforms required. No sticks or change, first downs every 20 yards. So that is the Winter War $1,000 rule for upcoming February and the 1st and the 2nd of 2025, replacing the Winter War season. Welcome, Mr. Hammond.
Jeremy Revis wants to know where he is.
Yeah, we already let him know.
He's been informed.
And everything. Getting a little feedback, or not a feedback, getting a little, I don't know, Corey, if it was your TV or what.
Probably his kids.
Yeah, it's goddamn people.
Oh, gotcha. Just throw something at him. You're good.
His basketball team.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a situation with my youngest, and by situation I mean not suitable for work type of situation.
Got it.
Explosions, violence, just carnage. It was horrifying, and it was at the mall with no preparation, no wipes, no extra diaper. He was screaming, but he's alive. He's with mom now, and we can move on.
And I could honestly say, been there, done that.
Yes.
Folks, which, by the way, for all that information that I just gave about the February 1st and 2nd Winter War information, all that you can find at a7flnv.com. Again, that's a7flnv.com in regards to the February 1st and 2nd tournament style of the Winter War. So, gentlemen, as mentioned to the viewers, Corey, you and Mr. Price got into a very passionate discussion about this list, talking about top 10 running backs, or I'm sorry, top 7 running backs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
In our league,
I'd say it was relatively tame for when CP Corey Price gets involved with the discussion, and fair. I think the kind of the citing evidence that I had for some of my, and behind the curtain, everybody that wants to shout out Danye Lyons for making as the top corner, but also in the same breath hate on Corey Hammond. A lot of these lists have been co-signed obviously by you guys as well.
Right.
But let's be honest, you guys are not as nerdy or obsessive as I am with some of these things. But
if there was a problem with them, Corey, that we would have given you an argument with them. And to be honest with you, so far, everything that we've put together, I've agreed with you, and we've had our little discussions. And which one was it? The list that we changed out number 7 was that
wide receiver? I think
wide receiver. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like we don't have those times where we can have the discussion and say, hey, let's change this guy out or let's change that guy out. When we're talking,
and that's not
backing you,
and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that just to behind the scenes, it's not me just blindly reacting to the generic list. We're trying to get into it and go over the things. And one of the resources that I've been using, he actually appeared on the show in one of our shows, or he had his own kind of like little, a guest appearance. But Cole Gardella, our stats guy in the Northeast, to be fair, no disrespect, copious amounts of disrespect, but the guys that are taking stats in Vegas are missing stats. Like, there's no way that some of the stats that we're going over and some of the guys in Vegas are correct.
Sense. They don't make sense.
Now, what's interesting is that the top guys seem to have most of their stats correct, and I don't know if that's a team directive. For instance, like when you look at Sickwood's passing numbers, those are pretty close to accurate. When you look at some of the rushing stats, they're pretty close to accurate.
I think that what they do, and quote me on this or don't, it doesn't really matter. But I think what happens with the situation like what you're talking about with the stats being really close to being accurate, I think the top tier or top level teams, what happens, and you probably know this as well as I do from back east, they just know the guys, right? They know the numbers, they're used to the faces. So those guys get the stats that they deserve. And I think that sometimes it's like, oh shit, who just caught that pass or who just ran the ball?
No, and that's for sure. Know, right? Yeah, that's for sure. Like what goes, like if you look at some of the Renegade stats, there's this wide receiver that I had, and in some of the games, he was accumulating stats for other guys because he was so generous. But it was that he was wearing other people's jerseys and he was a rookie, so people didn't know who he is. But to be clear, there was dissent from one of our favorite Northeast QBs in CP. However, kind of to back up the conversation that I had with Cole, going over the stats, going over the rosters, going over the available guys for this specific list. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great running backs that are super okay with being the guy that sits on the bench. Wow, it's funny that was a double take of Corey Hammond. But there's a lot of great running backs, very talented guys that are super cool with being a guy that sits on the bench that has no impact in the game whatsoever. That has absolutely zero to do with wins or losses, and he just shows up to get the win and post the one or two clips onto Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat because he's not worthy or willing to be the bell cow on a team that, like, hey, doesn't have the inside track for the championship. I'm talking to you guys, backups for Insomniac specifically. I'm talking to you guys, backups for BIC, backups for the U. Okay? I'm talking directly to you guys. So if you want me to name your names, I will, but I won't go that far. But to be clear, talent-wise, we have a lot of really good running backs. One of the interesting conversations we had even before CP is what happened to Moncrief from the fall last year. So if guys want to be part of these lists, if guys want to see their name, like Jeremy Revis, right? Mm-hmm. You want to see your name on a list because this generation is all about give me my participation trophy. Maybe don't just sign on with a team that's guaranteed to make the playoffs while you watch the better players in front of you amass statistics because you're too scared to see what you're made of without every one of your guys being, quote, better. And that's a pandemic in our league. There should be a vaccine for guys who are too weak or too sorry to try to branch off on their own. And sorry for that digression. Dub can go into the passion thing. Oh, but that is a problem in our league. And I think the if we took all of the top guys from those top teams, and this is across the country, and spread them out, we would not only have a better product for guys to watch and for guys to get recognition by getting stats. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Get away, Cork. Get away, Cork.
The other side of the passion, just as a not a segue to anything, but to go a different direction for just a second. Bill Belichick was named the head coach of the Tar Heels. Just so y'all know.
Nice. Well, how long is that tenure going to be? Like, no disrespect.
3 years. 3 years for $30 million.
Listen, good for him, and hopefully he is happy doing that. I don't know. I think he should have just rode off into the sunset. He's the greatest coach of all time. But anyway, with our league. So getting back to my little temper tantrum shit.
I'm sorry, a 5-year deal.
Good. Everybody wants to try to pile on and tell me that I'm the loser because I decided to be on a team that wasn't guaranteed to win, because I'm not afraid of actually competing, even with, like not a full clip in my gun, to use I guess a first person shooter reference. If I'm going out there with a sidearm and not a full clip and I'm on the worst team, guess what? I'm not just let's be frank. I'm not a whatever word, fill in here. It's a bad word. It should get bleeped out. But that's what you are, guys. I'm not that. And I'm willing to put my reputation, my statistics, my body on the line because I'm not scared. I'm not, childish, cowering in fear of these better teams. So I have to join up with them. All these guys that are looking to be on this list because they're talented enough, but aren't brave enough, they have no courage, they have no integrity, they have no will to actually be their own man. Yeah, you know what? It's the best running back in our league plays for one of the best offensive lines. True. And if you're too scared to try to branch out and see what you can do on an offensive line that isn't Kenny Mack, that isn't Oos, that isn't Schwenk, that isn't Dave Valley and Big Dippy and K-Wack, because it's not a Vegas thing. This happens in the Northeast, even maybe worse. BIC has probably like 4 600-yard capable backs on their roster. The U, they share reps every other possession. If you want to be the man, you got to earn that right. So don't the problem with our league as we look at the running back position and as Cole was looking at the stats is that guys that you would expect to be on this list because of their talent were too fucking scared, period, full stop, to branch out and actually prove that they are talented. And so if you look at this list, there may be a guy that you say, oh, how is this guy not on the list? Well, guess what? He didn't have more than 200 yards rushing, and he's literal garbage when you look at the stats because he was too scared to actually be the number one running back on a team that wasn't on the inside track to win either the division or the overall championship. So CP had a lot of good points where he was saying, hey, right, Cam? My daughter agrees 100%. Look, right, Cam? My daughter agrees 100% with me.
Just a quick thing.
Sure.
Let me just say this. The views of Corey Hammond aren't always the views of the other side of the ball.
No. Fine.
Corey, I'm giving you shit.
Who are you gonna throw bail to? Which one of the? No, I'm joking. But
I'm giving you crap. Giving you crap. I agree with you. I agree with you to the express point that yes, there are some guys that want to win, and so they're with a team because of that. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's not. Honestly, it's not just running backs either. But
no, I'm just giving you crap about it. I
deserve a ton of crap, and give me more crap in the comments. It's fun. But when we're looking over this list of like the available guys, names come up. For instance, and no disrespect to him, he was just kind of chilling this year. He wasn't doing anything. Like Courage Mosey. Everybody loves Courage Mosey. No yards. He barely showed up to games. Ice Cream Truck, a viral sensation. No yards. Snag Sosa, one of the best, like, just personalities in our league, and a Baltimore running back that was playing for the U. No yards. And then when you look at the guys on the Insomniacs, the best play Juice had all season was a pass. Like those guys might have amassed yards against teams that when they were already up or when RTC didn't show up. But you're not the best running back on your team. How can I put you on a list when you're not even willing to try to be the best running back on one team? You're not even at the number one spot on the Insomniacs.
Sorry.
I don't know. So
well, that's a good segue.
A very good segue.
But let's do this. We got the list. The list, and what's funny is to complete the conversation on like how we got to these guys. CP, who saw the list, says, nah, I don't agree with some of these guys on the list. But guess what? There were no guys that he could replace them with by saying, oh, what about this guy? He mentioned a guy from Ohio. He's kind of like a wide receiver. He mentioned the guys on the Insomniacs. They're bench riders. That's garbage to me, in my opinion. You're garbage if you're sitting on the bench watching somebody else.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at because I just realized what Mizzle posted. And it's if you read it and then read what he meant to write, underneath. It's kind of funny. That's all. That's just started reading that.
Look, if he's getting wet,
and
good for him.
No, go down.
We don't kink
shame
shame.
After that.
Yeah, well, very
very, not wet, passionate.
Well, listen, we don't kink shame. On A7 podcast, we don't kink shame. Mizzle, we love you. Unfortunately, you're going to have to, draft Shadir Sanders and lose for another 4 fucking seasons. So good for the Raiders. That's going to be a mess. Anyway.
Hot mess. Anyway.
All right, Passion Corkboard, get out of here.
Let's go with
let's do guys that you guys, because we had kind of the conversation of the honorable mention of the guys that you considered. Who are some of the guys that you brought up or look at, and maybe it could just be talent or whatever that may or may not have made the list that
oddly
belong to this category.
Well, oddly enough, Corey, you're actually wearing the gear on your chest today.
It kind of threw me when I saw that. I'm like, is he really wearing a Force?
He is wearing a Force T-shirt, which
I saw the colors, and I'm like, wait,
which is a perfect segue, because obviously, Jaleel Rogers and William Alexander are 2 guys that come to mind in the two-headed monster in the Force backfield, and then you think about what it was the season before when they had Tyreek Voodoo Flowers as a part of that 3-headed monster of the run game, which, I mean, hopefully,
Reek made the last year's 3-on-1 list for running backs.
Yes.
Balled out.
Yeah, yes, he did. So, I mean, those 2 are very similar in style. They are both very physical. Both like to give tough yards, not afraid to get dirty and nasty. And they're both very hard to tackle. You're not going to get them on just one rap. A lot of times you have to gang tackle both these men in the run game. So those 2 are definitely mentioning of an honorable mention. Those 2 for sure, Jaleel Rogers and William Alexander.
You've also seen situations where cornerbacks have made business decisions about tackling those guys.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Big time business decisions.
Well, and the offense that Coach Mack, I think, wants to run, he wants that type of running back. He wants those type of offensive linemen.
Well,
a guy that
he wants to go out there, and he wants to be just as physical, if not more physical than you are. Mm-hmm. And he is definitely one of those coaches. When he brings what he wants to the table, it is always going to be knuckles first, if you will. He wants to beat you up without a shadow of a doubt. And
they're going to make you earn your yards and earn your points.
Yes, and he is going to. I wouldn't be. Look, we sat on the sidelines, yes, this past year. Maybe not close enough to hear it, but there are a couple of times that I've talked to the guys afterwards. Hey, did you guys tell them what was coming? Oh yeah, dared them to stop it. I mean, when you are doing those types of things, what you're trying to do is send a message to the defense. Mm-hmm. And while I enjoy that tremendously, and I actually applaud them for doing exactly that, I think that Coach Mack, with his 2 running backs and the bruisers that they were, are going to be a tough out this coming season. I think that these guys are getting better. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to get better. I would love to see him play in this tournament because I think they need the cohesion as a team. And it would be great to see.
Well, speaking of De'Aaron Fox, yours truly did a PA announcing this past Saturday for the Minor League Football Report All-Star Game, and Fox played quarterback in the second game, and he threw the ball with a lot of zip. Easily should have had at least 5 touchdown passes. He had at least 3 because there were some balls that he put right on the money, and well, unfortunately, it hit the receiver in the wrong spot. But
in the hands, probably, right?
Exactly, right smack dab in the hands. But I would just say, just how he looked, just how the way he threw the ball, his release looked crisp, and his accuracy was on point. Because sometimes we have seen him to where we know he can sling the ball downfield with the best of them, and a lot of times it's can he be consistent with his accuracy? What I saw this past Saturday, If he can implement that starting March 16th, which by the way, that is opening day for season 11 of the XFL. If he can implement, say that again.
And my sister's birthday.
Oh yeah, and well, my mother's birthday is also in March, so a busy month for some of us in March. But if he can bring that into the spring, that's only going to implement and help this running game for the Force starting March 16th.
Well, and since I'm wearing a shirt, and to break it down, the thing with Fox is there's no empirical information that says that he's bad at throwing the football. That's not a thing that I think anybody would make the claim. But you mentioned he's playing 11-on-11 with pads against the 37U guys who are, glorified, senior guys in high school that play JV. Fine. But the thing is that it's not just me trashing them and making a joke out of it. The difference in the A7FL is the timing and the angles. When you only have 3 guys blocking, that triangle for a speed rusher means that the amount of time, minimum amount of time, because maximum, we see what the Insomniacs do for Scott Hamilton with 30,000 years. I mean, Scott has evolved into another version of humanity sometimes per play because he has so much time. But the minimum amount of time is a lot quicker. So if Fox can adjust to the speed of the A7 and be able to make those reads in that shorter amount of time, then once he's comfortable, he can use that physical talent, that passing ability that he can showcase, against against the guys working at the blackjack tables in the casinos out there, or working 2 a.m. at the fast food joints out there, showing up for adult Pop Warner. If he does that in our league, what? I mean, isn't that? Don't you get a guaranteed amount of plays even in an all-star game for semi-pro? Anyway,
I just love your passionate take. That's all.
Yeah, that's just my bad attempt at comedy. But Fox is talented, and then we go into all this and all that. It's the same thing that happens with a lot of NFL quarterbacks. It's he's got potential, right? And like eventually, potential is the ability to not do it but look good while you suck. So I got his shirt on. I'm rooting for him. I think the more he plays A7, the more he'll get comfortable with this.
You went the opposite way of what potential is. Potential is when opportunity meets talent. And I think that Fox has that. But I agree with you. I think that his mind has to be evaluating quicker. I think he has to make decisions faster. And when he does, he is a very talented quarterback. And what we saw in one of the games against the Insomniacs, he showed that.
Especially with early in that game.
His ability to process, his ability to understand what they were trying to do to him, and his ability to get the ball out of his hand was actually he was doing a very good job. And I think that that's, with a lot of young quarterbacks. I mean, Corey, you're what, 37 now?
Yeah, but I throw interceptions all the time too. I make mistakes. I'm not great, but yeah.
You're taking it as a knock, and it's not going to be. Let me push through this, and you'll see what I'm saying. So, when did you start playing as a quarterback in the A7? How old were you?
In the A7, I was 26.
So, would you say that the Corey at 26 was a much different quarterback than the Corey at 37?
Yeah, I was much better. But I had been playing quarterback. I had been playing quarterback in organized football for
a long time.
Since I was about 10. So we're talking over a decade.
But what I'm saying,
and that, to be clear, that A7, it was a lot more physical and a lot less speed on the field, right? There was like a paradigm shift, almost like the NFL from the 90s to what it is today, where it's like spread, speed, everything. That's kind of what happened in the A7 too. So what I was saying is,
all I'm saying is it took as you matured and as you understood the game a little bit better, you got better
mentally. Yeah.
And
then I lost step and throw.
But you were able to see plays develop a lot quicker, and you were able to get the ball out of your hands a lot quicker. I watched you play in the flag tournament that we had, and you were playing with a bunch of guys that you didn't know, but yet you were able to get rid of the ball and get the ball out of your hands quickly. All I'm saying is I am seeing the same kind of maturation with Fox as what you went through, just understanding the game. It's a different game playing 7-on-7 than playing 11-on-11. We all understand that.
Yeah, and what I was saying is I wasn't even taking it. You're saying it as a negative. I was taking it as you're giving me too much credit because I've been playing in this league a long time, and even I make tons of mistakes.
Watching you play and deliver the ball. The fact that what I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass whatsoever. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is, I watched you deliver the passes, and I watched what you were doing, and I called some of those friggin' plays. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So I saw some of the stuff that you were trying to do, and I don't think that you were where you were going with the ball was a bad place to go with the ball. I just think that sometimes when you have situations like Deion has, and you have guys coming in at wide receiver constantly, that's why I think he goes to Jordan Webb or Jaden Webb when he needs to, because he understands. They understand the game and see the game the same way. And I can't stress that enough. Even when I was coaching on Saturday, when I was coaching with the Kings, one of the biggest things that I said was, I want to get the quarterbacks and the wide receivers together because they need to be on the same page. What I saw and what I see from you and watching the wide receivers, if you had a little bit more time with them, it would have been dangerous. It would have. I don't care what anybody says. I watched what you were doing.
You can sling the rock, my friend, and you do it very well, despite sometimes you're not having much time for the ball.
I would have still thrown a decent.
But regardless of the fact, you can sling this ball, my friend. You can sling it. Oh, yeah, Corey's frozen. Oh,
well, okay.
Okay. Well, while we wait for Corey to get back.
What we need to do is we need to get into this damn list. It is 6:03. We only got an hour, and we got seven guys, and I can guarantee you it's going to take a bit. Oh, there you are. You're unfrozen. You were frozen there for a minute.
Number 7 on this list, as we now go into it.
Number 7.
Scroll.
Let me do this one because this is my guy.
No, go ahead.
No.
Number 7.
I'm just going to get to the list.
So, gotcha. So, Chris, do you have any just real quick honorable mentions? We went on a forced tangent. Always love going on specific team tangents. I think it's some of the most interesting conversations you can have.
We covered the force pretty well, but Moncrief as a running back would be another one, but I know he was injured. He wasn't ready to play. I think he was still feeling the after effects of his injury. So I think he's had time now to
I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the spring in March.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what happens to him and what he's able to bring.
Because he's dynamic. He's very dynamic.
He's had about 10 months to heal now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to be. He's definitely an honorable mention. He was definitely a tough out, and I want to see what he brings. But anyway, go ahead with number 7.
Yeah, he really was impressive.
Definite. In our fall league last year, because it wasn't Winter War, but in our fall league last year, he was
one of my favorites to watch. One of my favorites to watch.
Yes,
I mean he was an equalizer when he was on a team. That team competed and was in games that if he wasn't on the team, in my opinion, they don't have a shot.
Oh yeah, they don't have a chance.
So maybe if you want to be a guy that's mentioned near this list, follow the lead of a guy like Moncrief. But my honorable mention, I think, would be Lavish T, because I kind of wanted to put one of my favorite playmakers on this squad. But the interesting thing is for a passing offense and for like a utility weapon, as the way that they use him, he would have been a decent guy to maybe put on the athletes list. But if it comes to running back, maybe there's a different name, but number 7.
Before you go past Lavish really quick. I just want to say that
Sure.
I think Lavish is a better receiver. He's a damn good running back, but I think he's a better receiver than he is a running back.
Well, and the way Sick used him, I think it was really ingenious, is because his skill is to, when he has the ball in his hands, he's elusive in open space.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the way he makes them miss in space. Absolutely, yes.
So they would use him on the jet sweeps.
When you watch him catch the ball, right, as a wide receiver and a wide receiver coach, when you watch him catch the ball, it's effortless. He does not think twice about catching that football. It's very effortless, and it doesn't matter what you put on the ball. It looks like he's just, okay, got it. And then he's making his move. And I love that about the young man. Him and Darren Palmer, when it comes to catching the ball, they both make it look like it's no big deal.
But they're also very good at being patient and waiting for a block to open.
Yes.
And once it
opens, also setting up blocks.
Yeah, and
anyway,
when they used him out of the backfield to get the matchup, that was always a mismatch.
Oh, always. Didn't matter. Even against the corner.
Yeah. Well, especially when they would like do that thing where he would start at like the running back in the shotgun and then flex out, and then all of a sudden it's like, who's got him?
Yep.
Everybody's like, not me.
Yeah, right.
Number 7 for the 4th time.
All right. So in the comments, disagree with the listen up and down. That's what it's for. But I'm going to start with a guy that A, I know personally, B, is a Ryan DePaul, CEO of the league, favorite because of where he went to high school. Check out way back in the time machine, LJ Smith and Corey Hammond in Ryan's basement, and there's some funny back and forth there about this player. But Mike Liberty from the Snow Tribe, to me, embodies what I was kind of ranting about. This is a guy that on a really bad team. Now, I was on a worse team, to be clear. As I throw shade at the Snow Tribe, I lost to them. They had the one win. Terrible team. Horrible team. Really, at a certain point, nobody even wanted to play for this team. Okay. But you know who did? It was Mike Liberty. He would line up at the quarterback because their quarterbacks were always fucking trash, period. He'd line up at running back and with no blocking would get 4, 5, 6 yards with if he got a 6-yard gain, 8 of it was after contact. Played defensive end pretty damn good this year. And he's almost turned into the Aldi's version, you know, the discount version of a guy that is featured at the top of this list. But Mike Liberty, just production-wise, I could almost guarantee, even though the stats are kind of in other divisions, he had more yards, more touchdowns, and more highlights than all of your favorite running backs because he was not scared to play on a team that did not have an inside track to either the playoffs or a championship. And when the rest of the team around him quit, the rest of the team around him were such poor, like actual integrity type players in football. They didn't want to play unless it was going to be easy for them because they're garbage, right? There was good running backs on the Snow Tribe roster. One of them is that guy Suge, who's huge and should be one of the top running backs in this league every single year. But guess what? He doesn't have the heart. He doesn't have the fortitude. He doesn't have the will. He is what we would call B-made, and you can fill in that B word, but I'll say it's poorly made, but it's not, right? Everybody understands?
Oh, my.
Mike Liberty, in the face of adversity, never backs down, never quits, and is our
number 7
running back of the 2027. I did it again, Chris. I'm fast forwarding time.
You were going to say 2023, weren't you?
No, I said 7.
Even 27.
2024, not
That's right.
7.
I'm going to be old then. My kid will be 18. My kid will be fucking driving out of the house in 2027. It's crazy.
Can I share something with you guys real quick?
I think you should. I'm excited.
This is something that Double know. And this is going to show my age, so I'm going to say it. But my my oldest daughter's boyfriend is proposing to her tomorrow night.
Does your daughter know?
No, she doesn't.
I hope she's not watching.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
Watch it.
Oh,
But
shit. So he asked permission like a man.
Yes.
And that's the courage we're talking about.
Respect.
That's the integrity we're talking
He
about.
actually asked me out to lunch a bunch of times. I didn't realize what he wanted to talk to me about.
He's like,
and
hey, go
finally cornered me, and he goes, look, not for nothing, I've been trying to get a hold of you and get your attention. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then he asked me, I'm like,
oh shit, my bad.
If there's ever been a time that I want to say, I would definitely want to say no to something, this would be it. But he's a good kid. And
good.
When you said that, for some reason that just, because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be a father-in-law here shortly, which freaking blows my mind. But anyway, sorry, I had to.
Hey, well, I mean,
preemptive
like
congratulations, unless she says no, which she has the right to.
Well, she does. But she's not going to.
Okay, good.
Well, I've said it like this. I've always said 2 of the greatest honors a man can ever do. 1 is give a good woman his name, and 2, be a father. But also, there's also a third thing. One of the greatest things, an honor. One of the third greatest honor a man can ever do is walk his daughter down the aisle to give away. Those are 3 of the greatest. Those are 3 of the greatest things, in my opinion. One of the 3 greatest honors a man can ever do in life, and I say that in all sincerity. I really do.
Well, and if he's a good guy, let me tell you something about the guys that are left out there in the dating pool. For some of my my wife's, it sounded like I had multiple. My wife's.
Watch out, King Solomon.
My wife's single friends. Listen, she found a good guy. Don't wait, right? There's a lot of douches.
I would like to, I'd like to warn people about him and say something, but this is a kid that moved back from Buffalo to try to date my daughter.
Wow.
And when he moved back here and they moved to Buffalo, it was probably one of the hardest things for me as a father, especially because she was only 18. Mm-hmm. And then they moved back to Vegas, and they've been together ever since. And I got to say, he's a great kid, not a good kid, great kid, has been doing everything for himself since he was 13.
Well, listen, I'll say this. Maybe he deserves to be our
number 7.
No, I'm sure.
Right? But anyway.
But that's the kind of courage. That's the kind of courage and the kind of integrity we're looking for on these lists. So
definitely. And I just had to mention that because I will be with them on Saturday.
Nice.
And they will be engaged as of Saturday, and I can't wait. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Good news.
Well,
do you guys have any take on Mr. Liberty?
Well, now that just makes me have to go really watch some more game film because a lot of times when you try to get film on the Snow Tribe, it's during when we're either broadcasting or
Snow Tribe film is tough to watch. But there are highlight clips of Mike Liberty, whether he's playing for the Hawks or the couple of times when he was on the Renegades with CP3 and then CP3 got hurt. He's a gamer for sure. And he this year he played a little D end. He was an aggressive, physical guy. He just kind of embodies what it is to be a running back, even though he wants to be more of a wide receiver. I think the physical toll it takes on a young man in these positions where you don't have a great offensive line is tough. But he, to me, unless the chat can figure out who's got more than approximately 500 rushing yards, which it's hard to find in this league, at least written down on paper from somebody who took stats. Mike Liberty,
number 7.
For the 6th time.
Number 6.
So moving on, we have another guy who specifically CP3 disagreed with and had very good reasons why. In my opinion, I think I would agree on the premise of just the reasons. This guy also was the first ever Florida player of the year, like division player of the year. And
if he's player of the year, how could you argue?
Well, in the first year of that division,
Okay.
not this year.
Okay. All right.
And
All right, my
this is a
mistake.
guy- No, you're good. No,
Much
yeah. Now, this guy used to play quarterback. He's more of a he's always been a runner, but he used to play quarterback. And what he did was he decided to join the Nightcrawlers. Now, this goes kind of counter to what I've been saying, but to be clear, he was probably by far the best running option on a team in the Nightcrawlers that had a couple of guys that were pretty decent. I can't remember the guy's name, but he used to play for the A team at running back, and he's a big guy. He's on the Nightcrawlers. And if you really break it down, a lot of times the way the Nightcrawlers would line up is they would put, Logo Davis at the quarterback and then have Mark Bagway start at running back and then just run a pass offense. But if you watch the Nightcrawlers in their history, one of the things that they struggled with was having a solid, just pure running game.
Right.
Not a guy that runs back and forth, but check out the rare breed game in which they lost, even though they were dancing in the fourth quarter. When they need to play 4-minute offense and run the clock out, they've struggled in finding ways to run honest, just hand the ball off and let's run the ball.
And waste clock.
And our
Number 6.
running back of the season, Devon Gray, stepped into that role very nicely, deserves the praise finally, even though before this year, every week of every single season he's involved in, he's been crying louder than anyone in our league to get attention. Even as far as last year, calling out the Nightcrawlers and saying, look, I'm going to beat them, and then losing by 60.
Ouch.
Devon Gray has always been a good runner. And this year, taking a step back, not playing the quarterback position, joining up with the Nightcrawlers, earning the right to kind of be their go-to running back. He was impressive in the games that we saw him. And as far as overall statistics, the Florida division really kind of skews poorly. So you have to kind of look at it as a per game basis. And if you look at just per game, he was one of the most effective running backs in our league, which to me easily earns him
The number 6.
Nice.
spot on our list.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest misconception is about him, Corey?
That his middle name is Lauren. So his name on Facebook when he's always talking shit is Devon Lauren Gray. But Lauren, I think, is his daughter's name. So good for him. He is an interesting guy. And when we talked to him on the 3-on-1 podcast, he explained that for one of the seasons, his second year in the league, his follow-up season to his rookie season where he won, Florida Player of the Year, he actually made a really tough decision. And instead of kind of hiding from a responsibility, again, a courageous thing to do, he had to go in. And by go in, I mean go in to a place where nobody wants to go. And not to throw all of his business out there, this is a public story. You could
No
see
Diddy?
our what?
I just said no Diddy.
I mean, in prison, yeah, you could get Diddy-ish, but I don't think he went away for more than a month or two. But the thing is he had to kind of pay his dues, meet his responsibilities, face the consequences of actions, right? Be a man, be courageous, have integrity, something that, a lot of the guys that aren't on this list could learn from. And then his second season, he kind of suffered a little bit because physically he had gained a little bit of weight. He wasn't in the best shape, but he still was out there balling out with his team, doing the best that he could. Now, that kind of comeback story and to continue to play in the league and now, be humble enough to take a back seat and not be the face of an organization, but to join up with the Nightcrawlers and provide a useful tool for them to use on their run, even though it kind of, got cut short for, travel, weather excuses, which they are excuses, not reasons. It's just an excuse.
It happens.
Shit does happen, but they could have probably figured it out if they really wanted to. The rest of their players that showed up figured it out anyway. But for me, the biggest misconception of Devon Gray is that as much shit that he talks and as loud as he is and as vocal and as attention seeking that he is, he still has the football integrity to work hard, do the right things. And again, he in the itineration of the Florida division, he wasn't the I'm a join up guy. Now, I think even though I criticize that move a lot, for him to go, I'm a join up, he didn't just sit on the bench and watch. He was humble enough to change positions so that he could be a factor. And he earned the right to be the starter. And look, rotations are rotations, but for the Nightcrawlers, he was an effective player. And I think he's kind of found his niche in the league where he deserves, in my opinion, the
Number 6
spot on our list.
And there he is. So
Number 5.
Unless you guys want to talk about Devon Gray, I don't care.
no, number 5. Let's move up. We only
Now,
got
I'll let you guys, because I did the first two. You guys, one of you guys pick, because we kind of alluded to this young man.
it's not, we're not picking, but we will say number 5 is Mr. Mora from Sick.
What's his first name?
Julio Mora.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Which
go ahead, Dub.
no, I'm just saying he kind of took over because at the start of the year, Joey Gentili, formerly of the Insomniacs, was going to be the bell cow for Sick, and you were seeing that back on opening day against the Pit Bosses as he was running the ball very effectively, but unfortunately injured his knee and unfortunately was missed for the rest of the season. So in a sense, it became running back by committee, but when it was time to put the game on ice and run and waste clock, Julio Mora became that guy, and he was another guy that had slimmed down, toned up, and it showed in his running style because he, like a lot of people, runs very physical, is not afraid to get in between the tackles, and is not afraid to go for the tough yards. And like I said, definitely he is the guy he's the go-to guy for Sick when it's time to waste clock or possibly put the game away if they have the chance to mercy rule somebody, if you will.
Yeah, and they had a lot of chances.
And you have a player like Mora that I really do like for a couple of reasons. Catches the ball very well out of the backfield.
Yes.
And that's something that you don't always see. He will pick up a block.
Yep.
Which is something that is, when we talk about these players, is something that they all need to do very well. They don't always.
His blitz pickup is very good.
It's very good.
Especially for a team that wants to pass as much as Sick does.
And the thing about it is, he isn't just a blocking running back. He, to me, is another offensive lineman when he wants to block, because he will put you on your ass. If you're not careful, he will put you on your ass. The other thing about this that I like about Mora is the fact that he could run, and people that know football will understand what I mean when I say this. He can run between the tackles. However, he can also run off tackle. So he's got the speed to run around the corner, but he's also got the toughness to run in the A and B gaps, which is something that we don't always see. We always see, you got scat backs. They're going to run the sweep. They're going to do really good with that. They're going to do awesome with those around the corner plays. However, Mora will do both, and I love that about him. So him being where he is right now, I can make an argument for him being even higher, although I would have to watch some of these other guys because I haven't seen them as much as I would like to. But Mora is one of those players that if you put him in the backfield and you tell him, look, I need you to stay in, I need you to give the quarterback a few extra seconds, I need you to block, he is going to put a defensive lineman on his ass, period. So I do like this pick. I do like the way he plays the game, and he is a physical running back, period.
And it's the triple threat.
Definite.
Check one, two. It's double Corey's the worst. There we go.
You're not echoing. You're good.
So he's receiving back, blocking back, running back, and you could tell in the A7 guys that are not pure running backs. Now that doesn't mean that they can't be successful.
No,
because I've seen guys that we talked about it with Danye Lyons being a natural wide receiver, excelling at corner. You can be an exceptional A7 player and not necessarily have played that position your entire life.
Agreed.
I think Mora is one of those guys that when you just watch him play, the way he stands, the way he carries the ball, the way he receives handoffs, he's a traditional running back playing in a non-traditional league and adjusting his skill set to best suit what his team's asking him to do. And when you're on a team like Sickwood that passes as often as they do, there's two types of running backs you need. You need the running back-ish kind of guy that we talked about in the honorable mention section in Lavish T, where he is going to threaten the defense from that backfield position, so you have to account for him with either a linebacker or the extra rusher, etc. But you also, if you're going to be that passing team, you need a running back that is unselfish and physical enough and has the ability to do one of the toughest things in all of football across all of the versions of it, which is from a standing position, really, because you can't really attack a defensive end when you're starting in the backfield to get that fourth rusher.
No.
In the A7 specifically. You can't just run and get a head of steam and truck somebody. What you're doing is you're standing in an almost stationary position as somebody who is likely bigger than you, at minimum the same size as you, speed rushing with a head start. And just the physics of standing still versus guy running full speed, it's a potential comedy show for some of the backs in the A7FL trying to take on those blocks and not get completely blown up. Moore is the kind of guy that gets in the dirt.
You know what? In the dirt.
Yeah. And Moore is the kind of guy that he gets in the right position. He uses the right force deflection, which is a thing that, if you're an offensive lineman or a blocker in this league, maybe go Google it or get your subscription to USA Football. Force deflection. So what he's doing is next level like AP physics to protect his quarterback. And I don't know if he's a nerd or not, but Mora from Sick With It,
our number 5
running back, which segues nicely because I think our
number 4
running back could be switched with Mora because they're almost carbon copies of each other.
I would agree. And I've had the chance to watch this young man play. And I would agree with you that these guys we could have easily put, and I wouldn't have argued with you whatsoever. We could have easily flipped these guys because their games are so similar.
They're almost synonymous.
Clones, if you will. They're clones.
Now, everything that we just said about Mora applies directly to Amari Thomas, the running back for the Baltimore Watchmen. Now,
100%.
For 5 years, probably, Amari's been one of the more consistent contributors in the A7FL. And in my opinion, unfortunately, because he's not necessarily a big play threat. Not that he hasn't made big plays, But the way that he plays the game of football, he's more there for the 5-yard carries, the dump off catches, and the huge blocks that break open another guy to be that
Corey,
breakthrough player.
would you be able to say he's very consistent?
He's one of the most consistent guys that I've seen in the league.
This guy to me should be named Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
This guy is one of those guys that you tell him what he's got to do, his assignment, and he's going to carry it out.
So
you can
basically,
say, I need you to chip the end.
Yep.
I need you to chip the defensive tackle. I need you to be in the flats on this play, and the man is there. Period.
basically what you're saying is he's a football player.
Definite.
Yeah.
And he understands his assignments. That's why I love this guy. And if I'm going to, and I'll tell you right now, if I was going to start a team tomorrow, there's a couple of guys that I'd want on my squad, this man being one of them, because of his consistency, because of what he's so coachable.
Well, and he's so prototypical of what you want. Because, for instance, if you look at a guy like last year, Voodoo Reek,
Mr. Flowers,
big play potential, maybe more than Amari Thomas. Also had the ability to get a negative 3-yard run on any play as well.
Agreed.
Not because there's anything wrong with the way that Tariq Flowers played, but when you design a play to be run through the A gap or to press the B gap and then break it outside, or the wide receiver is going to come in a crack motion and you got to read if he's able to pin or has to pull on that crack block. Amari Thomas is going to run to the right area. He's going to block the right guy, and he's going to be available for his quarterback if there is their pass play on a check down in the 100%. Right place. So when you expect him to do something, he's going to meet the expectation every single time. And when he gets the opportunity in the right situation, he's going to go beyond the expectations and make huge plays as well. It's like this, and this is a great way. And now this isn't my original metaphor, right? If you've heard it before, I'm not taking credit for it. But you guys know how you chop down an enormous tree?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Big redwood.
One axe swing at a time. And if you just fucking keep chopping it down with one chop after another,
it's gonna fall.
Eventually that fucking thing is gonna fall. And that's the way that he approaches when he's the bell cow running back. He's going to get 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards. Reminds me in that sense of a guy that we might see later on this list. But he's also going to do all of the things that his team needs him to do. And to me, when we talked about Mora, all of the things that we said about Mora, this is the first time that I've seen Mora as consistently doing those things, because Mora was on Sick With It last year. Mm-hmm. Mora was on Sick With It in the fall. And I think he's been building up to be that guy. Not that he didn't have the ability in the previous, itinerations of Sick, whether fall or the previous spring. But I think it's come to fruition in this season, and the ability for Mark Gray to kind of use that misdirection, almost that jet sweep, wing tee action type of stuff, to create running lanes for their running backs where they weren't just getting the snap and just handing it off and just, saying, hey, where he's going to get the ball. It's a little bit.
I think you're missing out a big piece of this with Amari. And I think that one of the things that I've got to say with him is the fact that not only is he a great blocker, not only is he a great receiver, not only can he do the things out of the backfield that you would expect from a running back. The other piece that I really love about his game is you can turn, and a lot of quarterbacks, you being one of them, we all have, or all quarterbacks have, their security blanket.
Yeah.
And I truly believe he's a security blanket, because this guy will block, knock his guy on his ass, and then turn around and look for the football for an outlet. This guy is your prototypical running back that you want to see, because if you don't have anybody else open, guess as a quarterback, guess where you can go, because he's going to do what you want him to, and he's going to do it above and beyond. So that way you can get him the football, and he's going to get you that hard first down. This guy is one of the guys that I have said it before, and I'll say it again. If I'm starting a team and I need my quarterback to feel comfortable, I want a player like Amari.
And to kind of piggyback on that specific thought, not only is he going to knock the guy over and then be available, but he also is smart enough to get in between the throwing lanes for the quarterback, so that the vision is you're able to throw a pass directly to him, and you don't have to throw it up, throw it out, or hey, it was open, but there's no way for you to get him the ball. He's that kind of savvy running back. I think that's a good thing.
Yes. Because he will go in between the defenders, like you said. So that way, as a quarterback, you don't have to throw it up and over. You could sidearm it and get it to him with no problem as to where he is in between. And the kid looks for that shit. That's what I love about him. He will turn around. I've seen him turn around, and he doesn't have eye-to-eye contact with his quarterback, so he'll move over.
Yes.
So that way they've got eye-to-eye contact, and it's an easy throw for his quarterback. And I love that. Because
who suffers from that? Go ahead.
Running backs are friggin' notorious for just turning around. They're never notorious for finding that gap, so that way you can get them the rock easier. And to me, that's something that Amari does very well.
And you know who suffers from doing that in that situation? Because when a receiver or running back does that, he sometimes is getting in the danger zone of, after he catches the ball, getting hit.
Oh yeah.
So the quarterback is able to complete the pass. A lot of guys are looking to see so they can be wide open, so that when they catch the ball, they can get their run after the catch.
Yes.
Amari might not break those long plays, but on 3rd and 6, he's going to stand near the sticks, catch it, get tackled immediately because he found a spot inside the throwing lanes.
But it's going to be a first down.
And it's going to be an easier play for his quarterback, a harder play for him.
Yes.
And to finish my point with Mora has built up to be the guy on this list. Amari Thomas has quietly and humbly been doing this since he was on Rare Breed, doing it in games of the week when the force didn't even exist. So I think that chopping down that tree, one swing after another, Amari Thomas, our
number 4
running back of the 2024 A7FL season, according to Other Side of the Ball. Which brings us to our
number 3
running back. Hey guys, we're going on a little bit of a run with Northeast, guys.
There we go. And I'll say the name. I will say the name. Willie Mayweather from the U.
Now, what is your guys' take on him? Because I've played with him. I faced him. He's been a mainstay in our league for a long time. But it would be interesting to hear from you guys, because you've probably seen it. What are your thoughts on a guy whose real last name is Easterling? But his real last name is William Easterling.
Then why do we have Mayweather?
That's what he's known as in our league.
Okay.
It's like, why is one of our guys named BBW? I don't know.
Very physical back.
I'm not even going to go there.
Very physical back. Not afraid to get down and dirty. Very tough to tackle. You got to gang tackle him to tackle him, because he is not easy to bring down by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he's the perfect epitome of Patterson U football, to where they just want to grind you down and just wear you out by the time the fourth quarter comes around.
Yeah,
and
especially when Huff's hurt, right?
That part, especially that part.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, he's the emphasis of what Patterson U football has been about since the inception of this league. That would be my synopsis in trying to explain Mr. Mayweather.
I would say that I've got a little bit to say about him, not a whole lot, because I've only seen very small pieces of his play. What I will say about him that I do like, and I will agree with Dub, is the fact that if you've got tough yards, if you've got the tough play that needs to be grinded out, he's going to take that and he's going to make it, and he's going to do the best he can with what he's got. The guy does not leave, in my mind, he has not left yards on the field. And what I mean by that is when you need certain plays to happen, I've seen him make those plays and get the yards that are needed. So that is my my kind of the stretch, if you will, the stretch play, if you will, of what I've seen with Willie.
You want to hear a stat, guys?
Go ahead.
Mayweather had 270. That's an approximation. I think it was like a little bit less than that. 270 yards in one game last year.
That should tell you what you need to know.
So now the interesting thing is when you look at the U running backs, they fall into the category of things that I've been saying, or how I started my appearance on the show today. They have a lot of guys that can get yardage. Now, people remember this guy's nickname, but going back for the 10 years that the A7FL has existed, a guy in Marcus McKinney, hard body, is definitely
hard body. Hard body. He's hard body.
Sorry, yeah, LJ Smith. I mean, you can hear him saying, it's funny.
Hard body.
LJ gets a lot of praise, but the one thing he gets shit for, and it almost became a meme, is that in certain plays he'll just repeat the guy's name if he has a good nickname, like Ace Boogie, Ace Boogaloo. So that's grating, like GRATING. Shout out to LJ Smith, but stop, bro, stop. He's somewhere falling asleep as he's announcing a game. That's a little baseball. Yikes, my bad, LJ. But the U, they have all of those guys. So Snag Sosa comes to mind. There's a guy named Honey Badger that gets some reps. There's what's the kid's name? A Sadiq Pitts is an up and coming running back. The U has a great offensive line. So when they have a running back with talent, he's able to get the yards that they sometimes need, especially like we said before, when Huff is either not on the roster like he was last season when Moon was the quarterback, or this year when he was hurt. They have a lot of options at running back, and I almost wish that they would just commit to one guy and see what that one guy could produce with a full season and being.
Good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Hornbeak.
Wow!
That last name seems like a Pokemon. Anyway.
Hey, great player.
Yes,
great player.
I'm just joking.
One of the good things about Over the Top this past spring season.
Definitely.
There's so many good things about Over the Top, except for their record and their ability to beat good teams. Anyway, we'll talk about that I promise we'll talk about that in depth on another podcast.
Corey. The only thing that's bad about OTT
is their offensive line. Yeah, it's the most important thing.
Consistency. If they had consistency, they would definitely be a notch above where they are. They are a good squad. They just need consistency. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll say this. When a team has a ton of talent and fails to succeed consistently, it starts with the top.
Yep. Consistency is always going to be there. But anyway.
Expectations and whatever. The U could probably have had any of those guys be on this list if they stuck with them consistently, and that guy was the bell cow. But when you look at the statistics, even though they had a really full roster, the guy that stood out, the guy that put up the most stats, most touchdowns, highest yards per carry, is the guy that made our list, even though guys like Snag Sosa Guys like Hardbody are great running backs in their own right. But that kind of goes back to my thing. If those guys or guys that are like similar to this on different teams, because let's be honest, the U guys are kind of like they're like their own little like clique out in Patterson, just doing their own thing. They're not going to play on other teams.
Yeah,
Mayweather is by just for an example, in 2017 when the Union City Chiefs won the A7FL championship, he was a 1,200-yard rusher on a team that was a running team.
That's no joke.
And they were the best, in my opinion, at down kick out block with only like the three guys and a fourth guy, either a fullback or a tight end. So Mayweather, when given the bulk of the team's carries, has shown that he could be that guy. Mm-hmm. But on in this season, even though he shared carries, he stood out for the U. And like I said, 270 in one afternoon is a lot better than a lot of the guys that you
huge.
Yeah, well, listen, a lot of the guys on our list didn't even get close to that number in a full season because they were content watching other guys succeed while they sat on the bench and talked about their overall win and loss record like they had anything to fucking.
You will not let that go. Let's move on.
No, I won't. So Willie Mayweather, our
number 3.
Let's move on.
Listen, if my shit talk urges one great running back to defect and go to another team,
you are 1,000% correct. But
I will feel vindicated. And he can rub it in my face when he runs for 1,500 yards on another team.
2 guys left.
Number 2.
Number 2, Dub.
Well, this particular fella basically burst into the scene, into your living room. Definitely gave some scare into the Trenton BIC. And, of course, the tandem with David Tender can mean a big 2025 for the Silk City Animals. Of course, we're talking about the one, the only, Quanny Morgan of the Sick City Animals.
Yeah, Quanny's. People have been wondering where we're going to put Quanny Morgan on these lists, and he did make the returner list. Which again, that's the only list that you can, be on both because that's kind of like a utility thing anyway.
Yeah.
And statistically, I think if you break it down, like a per game average wasn't as impressive as the games where he was clearly the guy at that position, because they do use like a lot of these teams, they use multiple guys, and he didn't. If you put our number one guy's stats against a lot of these guys' stats, it would look cartoonish. But what Quanny Morgan does is give you that USC Reggie Bush type of feel, where when he's getting the ball or he has the ball, you go to the edge of your seat immediately because something's going to happen. Now, it doesn't necessarily always mean it's a touchdown or anything like that. But he's one of those exciting players that when he's involved in a play, it becomes a play that most fans want to watch and get excited about.
Watch again.
The Fresno State play comes to mind when you made that Reggie Bush analogy.
Well, I love, and it's nostalgia too, because I think, it's funny. I showed my 10-year-old Reggie Bush highlights, and it didn't feel the same as when you're watching it live as a kid, like witnessing greatness. I think that's why people will.
Tells me how old I am when you said watching it as a kid, and I was an adult watching it. But anyway, good.
Well, I was like 15-ish. What's that? 2003.
I don't even know.
No, he won the Heisman in 2005. So I was literally 22, going on 23.
Yeah. So anyway,
you know what? I would like to show you guys both that you're number one, but I'm just going to leave it alone.
Love you too, Chris.
So the other thing,
older than that.
The other thing about Quanny is just physicality and body style. I think it's impossible to mention him and not kind of equate what he looks like playing the game of football and say that he just reminds me of Saquon Barkley. The ability.
Does
the
he have
ability. Does he what?
have the speed?
I'd say so. On those 3-on-1s, he runs past
He
people.
shows it. Okay, because I'm not gonna lie, he is one of the guys on here that I wasn't able to watch as much as I would like to.
Chris, just go watch the
It just aired.
Go watch the short version of the BIC Silk 80 to 68 game, and that is all you need to know.
Yeah,
Because I watched part of it, but I didn't watch all of it. So
that is all you'll need to know about Quanny Morgan.
Okay.
Dub, does he remind, when you watch him play, is it fair to say that he reminds you of a Saquon Barkley playing the game of football?
Now, if he decides to do the ass hurdle like Saquon, then I just might as well just be like, you know what? I'm packing my.
Somebody could be Bobby Newman. Okay,
I'm packing up my stuff and I'm done. But I mean, it's just his. It's like Saquon. It's hit the jump cut and go. It's the same with Quanny Morgan. Once Quanny Morgan finds that seal, he just finds that chink in the armor. Once he hits it and go, it's almost like he shifts right into third gear from first gear, and it's it's good. Or as Rob would say, it's bye. Shout out to Big Rob.
So, are you saying that he is one of those guys that is one step at full speed?
Yeah,
once he sees that crease, forget it.
He's the kind of running back that has the agility to be a Tariq Flowers-esque guy, to be, that shifty back. He has that wiggle, but he also has the physicality and acceleration.
So he can make you pay either way.
And he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield.
Well, in that case, then I would say Saquon is not a bad comparison.
And not to mention he's tall. He's a big guy height wise.
I mean, he's 6 foot. He's not that tall.
No, but 6 foot as a running back.
For a running back, he's not little.
These other running backs, that's not a bad size.
No, he's about like 6 foot, probably like 220, and not not my 220. Not like comfortable in winter 20, right? Like 220.
Got you. Muscular 220.
Yeah, he's like no Diddy. He's a specimen. And the way that when you watch Saquon play,
he's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, the way that when you watch Saquon play,
he's built like a brick shithouse. Let's be real.
Is he as jacked as some of the guys that spend too much time in the gym? No, I don't think he's like chiseled or ripped. But
like Mr. Reeves,
like his Saquon Barkley, like when you look at his legs, you're like, that motherfucker's running with power, right?
Same with Nick Chubb.
That's Quanny Morgan. And
Quanny
Morgan is the rookie. Yeah. Quanny Morgan is the rookie of the year most years because of the impact that he had for the Animals, which is another thing. He's playing for a team that doesn't have one of the premier offensive lines. So what he's doing and his ability to produce on that squad, let's not disrespect the Santisteban brothers too much. I mean, they're not the worst offensive line in the A7FL.
But they're not bad.
But if it wasn't for Dave Valley, if it wasn't for David Tender, if it wasn't for other guys that rookie of the year wise were just that amazing, and this rookie class in 2024, even especially for the Animals specifically, pretty damn amazing. But for me, Quanny Morgan, if he continues the arc that he's currently on, and the Animals are able to recruit or entice like a top offensive lineman or two, he could be that next running back in the legacy of, Daryl Verges, which is a guy maybe you guys aren't as familiar with, but is a guy that was on NFL rosters after being a standout for BIC in the early years of the A7FL. Actually, it was Moortown Beef. Or a guy that is now considered the GOAT at the running back position. Encourage Mosey, who has kind of really passed the torch on to that next guy in the legacy. Quanny Morgan could be the heir apparent to that. He's that talented. He's that physical. And in a game where you don't wear pads and you have to tackle a running back by the legs to try to stop him, when those are the legs that you're going for, you see why he gets as many yards.
You're in trouble.
So
Town beef.
in the legacy of, early Town Beef days of Daryl Verges, then to Courage Mosey, then to another guy, Kwani Morgan could be one of those guys we talk about as the history of this league kind of continues. But since we're alluding to him, Daryl Verges, Courage Mosey, you know who the face of the running back position is in the A7FL moving forward, guys? It would be our
number one.
And this guy, and I am not going to say his name right off the bat. All I'm going to do is this.
Chat, who are we talking about?
What I'm going to say for this man is some people have brought his name up, and what I will say for him is
he's got a great first name.
Yeah, he's got a great first name. But his comparison to a Mr. Derrick Henry is not off the mark for what he's capable of doing. What I've seen this young man do, he has done with the Force. Yep. He has done with the Insomniacs. And this young man I saw him go with a flat tire. Miz, what's up, brother? Anyway, I saw him do this with a flat tire going into the end zone. And I love the fact of calling it a flat tire, considering it was a calf cramp. But this young man is what I would consider I wouldn't say a prototypical running back, because there is no prototype that you can use to describe him, because you would have to have a defensive end that just happens to be able to play running back. In this case, we are talking about a running back that just happens to also be able to play defensive end. And in our number one position, Dub, do the honors.
I'll just call him a grown-ass man, but I'll just let our incoming host give the introduction for our number one running back.
Who is your personal, because you don't have the list maybe in front of you, who is your best running back of the A7FL right now? Who's the face of that position in the league?
We were just about to mention the guy's name. I mean,
we're avoiding it. You do it. Mr. Wilkerson.
No. Hey, so I guess, as Corey would say, number one.
Number one
is Mr. Anthony Wilkerson. Beast. There you go. Beast.
Now you said it right.
Beast mode.
I'm gonna use this because this is kind of his show, right? I'm gonna use this because at the beginning of last year, he had made an attempt to say, look, I don't want to be known as the name that they've given me, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So one of my favorite moments in podcast history was as we are looking at guys like Courage, which that's kind of just a tough fucking name for a running back, and a guy that Anthony Wilkerson looks up to. I was thinking, like, what one word could embody Anthony Wilkerson's play style? So what I was thinking is bravado, right? And I wanted it to stick. I liked it too. Didn't stick because I think what happened was when Matt Ryan heard that and wanted to start calling him Big Bravado Wilkerson.
No.
What's that shuffling?
Roll off the tongue.
Big Bravado Wilkerson.
That's Dub stroking his microphone. That's
Bravado Wilkerson.
I am not stroking my mic. I'm replacing the microphone.
You just did it.
Bro, I know you get excited. I know you get excited about Wilkerson here. But Big Bravado Wilkerson, BBW.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that can go a lot of ways when you say that, but okay.
Whoa.
It goes a lot of ways when you say that.
That joke has been established. That's actually my favorite moment from the 3-on-1 podcast. But let's workshop, because we could talk all day about how great he is. Because when the Insomniacs beat the Nightcrawlers, I think he had over 25 carries. Over 25 carries. And one of the most physical games that I've ever seen from an individual player in our league.
The offense in the second half was definitely all him.
Well,
And
it wasn't all him. He was
the
the
about it,
catalyst.
Wait, hold on. Don't
ahead.
forget about Henderson trying to light him up
Ooh.
and taking him out of bounds. And all Wilkerson did was look at him
Ooh.
and laugh.
Right.
It's kind of an insane person.
Well,
Shout
the
out
thing
to
about
the- shout out to
the thing
Big Fat
about
Nugget.
Mr. Wilkerson is he likes contact, and he won't shy away from it.
No, he will
And
not.
that's-
And you said,
Like I
and you
said,
said he
peace.
reminds you said he reminds you of Derrick Henry, which I think is fair. I think that's very
That's
close.
a fair assessment. That's
I
a fair
think the
assessment.
one that I would whip out, and this might show my age a little bit, because it's just such a natural bully running back type of style. He reminds me of Eric Dickerson. Now he doesn't have glasses, and he's not wearing an ugly ass jersey.
Well,
with the arm length.
Let me just jump in here real quick and say the only reason why I can't agree with you, Corey, and I understand where you're going. Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're going. But the reason why I say Derrick Henry is because Derrick Henry will run around you.
And
He will
through you.
run by you. And the biggest piece about it is he will run your ass over.
Stiff
and that
arm the
is-
living life out of you.
That is RTC, hands
Yes.
down. This
Peace.
man
Peace.
will run around you
Mhm.
if he wants to.
Mhm.
He will run by you when
Mhm.
he wants to.
Yes.
He will run your ass over
Mhm.
because he wants to.
Right.
It's
Understand?
almost it's a mix. For me, he's a little bit of mix of Marshawn Lynch, and he's a little bit of mix of a Mike Allstott, just in terms of his brute force when he runs. Because again,
Not
for
the
one
white
example,
guy, bro. Not the white guy.
I love me some Mike Allstott.
Dude,
Mike Allstott
will run your
Mike-
ass over. in a
Mike
heartbeat.
Allstott is an all-time
And if you
great.
If you gave Mike Allstott 14 yards, he's going to get 7. It's going to be punishing. But if he had an open field, the motherfucker would trip and fall on his face. His face mask was too heavy
Don't be
to get
fooled.
the kind of running.
Do not.
yard.
Mike also had some long distance touchdown runs. Do not be
He
fooled by
did.
the A train. But
Not sleep on him.
I think you're mixing white running backs and putting Peyton Hillis's long runs in it.
I knew you were about to say Peyton Hillis. I knew you were going to say.
No,
Peyton
but
Hillis.
listen. I don't necessarily disagree. The reason I said Eric Dickerson, and what I want to do is after we do the little thing here, whatever, we're way over, so fuck it. Eric Dickerson, when you watched it, he was just a physically just better type of dude out there, not trying to get yards, but trying to bully the will out of the defense. And to me, the way that Wilkerson plays the running back position, he's out there to just embarrass the other team.
Yes.
And it's funny, one of our first impressions
like the
of him
chaos.
is enter team name here.
I'm
What
pretty sure
team
he
has
was
he
bigger
not?
than some of the
So
chaos
okay. Hold
defensive
on.
linemen.
There's one running back that we not can compare RTC to. Can we compare him to a little bit of Adrian Peterson?
Yes.
Yes.
A lot
Can we
like
get
Adrian
Can we get Adrian Peterson? Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
I?
yeah,
Can I
relentless, like,
just
nasty
say,
style.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, seriously.
Yeah.
Let me just say one
You went there. Oh boy.
No, let me say one thing that is going to be different from what everybody has said already. All right. And I'm going to steal what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say his name right now. I'll say it afterwards.
Okay.
And I'm just going to put it to you like this. Anthony Wilkerson is just better. He is just better.
That's true.
And
Oh,
I'm
boy.
stealing that from our boy.
Oh boy.
And if you don't know, you're going to know. And what I will say is Eric Schuford,
You're gonna make me do it, Chris.
Munchie, he is just better, period. Go ahead, Doug.
100%.
Go ahead.
100%.
Say whatever you
You're
want.
gonna
The
make,
thing
you're
about
gonna
it
make me
is-
do it.
there you
Oh,
go.
baby.
And the
This
thing
is
about
him.
it,
Do an RTC thing.
when we're talking about this man, and when I say this is a young man that I have the privilege of talking to on the sidelines. This is a young man that I have the privilege of having conversations with. He is so down to earth. It is
Yes, he
unreal.
is.
And when you see him play the game that he has played, I've watched the young man damn near get knocked out. We were there, Dub, at Bonanza when he went over the top and damn near knocked himself out.
Oh yeah, when he got a nice laceration on his face.
Yeah, with a road rash on his face, the whole nine. He got up and said, and remember what he said? They wanted to take him to the sidelines. They were like, dude, you're concussed. He was like, I don't care. I'm playing the game.
I'm going back in. No. And true story, I was actually on that side where it happened. I was on the sideline. And I'm just
like I said, when you guys left it to me, beast. He's a fucking beast. He's a beast.
Harwin Snow, I don't like you right now. I do not like you right now. I do not like you right now.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, whatever. If we got trolls,
we haven't even gotten to that part yet. We haven't
even talked about the Nuggets.
We haven't even talked about that yet.
It's power pellets. They don't call them nuggets. They call them power pellets.
So let's just workshop a little bit here, this nickname conundrum that we're in, because we've said a lot of words, but what name are we going to try to attach to him just in a little limited time that we have here? He's a big anime guy. I don't know if you guys are into the anime. There's an anime called Berserk. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes. The guy carries a big ass fucking sword. Yes, he did. Let's go.
And in the same vein, like, right? So I call Lavish T Lord Tenyin Uzue because he's flashy, right? I don't think a Demon Slayer reference for my guy Anthony Wilkerson is right. But I kind of wanted to do like an anime reference, but also keep along the lines of kind of like a you know, what's courage as a word, right? It's like more of an adjective that becomes the name, right? So in the same vein with the main protagonist from Berserk, what do you guys think about Guts Wilkerson?
Okay. I like
Guts Wilkerson?
But I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna say it. You guys can sort it out however you want. I'm gonna say it, and we're gonna go with it from here. Anthony Wilkerson. I had a hard time calling him RTC for a couple of reasons. Well, hold on.
I get it though.
Let me finish. I can look at that now and look back at it and say, I have my reasons of having a hard time with it. Now, I can honestly sit here and tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, you want to know what you can call this man? You want to know a nickname? You want to know why his nickname is fitting? Because Anthony Wilkerson is, very simply put, the A7FL version of the bus, and he will run your ass over.
We going there.
Get into the end zone, laugh about it, and come back and tell you, I'm going to do it again. And you ain't going to do shit about stopping him. So now, with that said, RTC is very fitting for this young man. Period.
Listen, I think that there should be branded shirts. I don't know why I'm talking twice. I think that there should be branded shirts that do the RTC logo and be like, you know, Vegas Insomniacs RTC, kind of like. I thought it was great branding. I think it makes sense. I like that it's not the bus because that's specifically taken.
Exactly.
I actually liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. RTC, since the beginning, he was mentioned as RTC. I was down. This is his show. This is a guy that deserves to have input. So all I'm saying is that as well as RTC fits, I'm just trying to workshop it here. So could we can't call him Greyhound. That's weird. And they're skinny.
No. I'm just gonna call him.
I'm gonna stay with RTC because I think it's fitting.
I'm going to call him the Raging Demon because, like Akuma, when he runs with a lot of rage.
Akuma? Who's that?
from Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Oh yeah. All right. So and you made the Akita reference last week. I actually looked that up, Dub. I was like, oh, that's the anime. By the way, I was.
I told you, it's the goat of anime.
Well, it's not the goat. It's not the
good.
greatest of all time. It's the
goat.
original, right? It's the original.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm not saying it's bad at all.
It started the anime phase to what it is now.
And I was unfamiliar. I was like, I've heard that before, but I'm not. No, you're right. I don't know, man. What? So Akira. No. What'd you say? What was the Street Fighter thing?
I called him Akuma, the raging demon.
Akuma Wilkerson.
No, I call him the raging demon.
I would just
the raging demon.
Yes, because he runs with rage.
Fair.
Raging demon or raging bull? Take your choice.
Yeah,
Either
one works.
Either one
Yeah,
works.
say either one
Fact of the
works.
matter
Man.
is, you are not stopping either one.
No.
I mean, anytime
And
you compare.
I've seen way too many cornerbacks not make business decisions, but figure out a way to run the other way when
just get out
he
the other
is
way.
coming down the line.
They just get out the way.
When he's running downhill, you just forget about it. When he gets to the second level, you can just forget about it.
Dude, there's certain people that I don't care about hitting. There's certain people that when I was in football with pads and a helmet, I didn't give a shit. I don't care how big you were. When it comes to this man, I would have second thoughts.
Okay, so just how you said about second thoughts, there's another running back in the olden days that people had second thoughts about. He played for the Oilers. His name was Earl Campbell.
Yep. Man, come on. You
made business decisions when you ran up against Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell is.
Oh yeah. Oh, you.
Man got stripped out of his jersey.
And
he might actually be more
that was
Earl
also
Campbell than
Ripper
Eric
Jersey.
Dickerson.
But
Yeah.
Let me say that
I was.
if you're gonna look at
Well, there's
Anthony
confirmation.
by any means-
There's confirmation right there, folks, for Mr.
if
Clark.
you're gonna look at Anthony by any means, I think that I would have to look at Eddie George as being
Ooh, okay.
That's a good
Okay.
one. That's cool.
the
That is
newer
a damn.
version
That's a damn good one too.
of who he is. And I would also say Derrick Henry, and he is a combination of the two because again, run around you, run through you, run over you.
Let me throw one more at you,
Good night.
Chris. Let me throw one more at you. Jamal Lewis.
I would say yes. The only thing about Jamal Lewis that I didn't like was his thing was over or by. It was never around. Anthony,
Oh no. I'm more
Anthony
talking
is
about his
over,
physical
by, and
presence of his running style, more physical presence than more of his running around you. Jamal Lewis will give you the business as well. That's that.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
he'd drop a shoulder into you in a heartbeat and,
Oh, yeah.
and step over you and look back at you afterwards and say, hey,
His Baltimore Raven career was very, very good.
oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow.
Now we're doing the comps, which I think is fun, and we could go all day. Just like enter, big physical running back that was excellent in the NFL.
Yeah.
He plays for the Insomniacs, so nightmares keep you up at night. But there is a nightmare already on the team. I don't know, man. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna recap this list. But what I'm gonna say is to fans that are watching now, fans that. Except for this fucking guy, D's Nuts Wilkins. Shut the fuck up, guy. Look, we got great fans. Jonathan Clark had something to say. Thank God that's not the last thing that we saw.
Wait,
but
you don't like these nuts? Okay, I'll cover them up.
What are you,
Let's
Jay
move on.
Z? What
Let's
are you,
move on.
Jay Z?
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Nah, not too soon. Fuck that guy. Ether.
I gotta
Kingfish lips.
Ether. Like we just need to just play Ether now forever. From now on, anytime we're about to play a Jay-Z song, just switch it out for Nas's Ether. Bang. All right. Anyway, let's recap the list. But I'm going to ask our fans in the comments to help us with this conundrum. I say Big Bravado Wilkerson is great, but for obvious reasons, we can't be calling the guy BBW, even though it gets a laugh. Bravado Wilkerson, I thought was awesome. Backfired. Now, Guts Wilkerson, I don't think a lot of people are going to get the anime reference because that Berserk isn't as popular as some of the other ones.
It's a damn good anime, though.
We can't call him and we can't call him Griffith because he's not like that pretty like evil antagonist. Anyway, go check it out. We can't call him Johann Liebert, even though he is a monster. Check that one out too. But I don't want to necessarily do anime because we can't call him Goku. I mean, there's already a Super Saiyan. But comment section right now should be flooded with better options for RTC because the young man who is one of the best players in our league, and when we do our coming up, guys, soon, our first episode of the top 50 players of the 2024 season. So we did all the positions by position, and now we're going to rank everybody in order. So guys that barely made the list, be prepared to be between 50 and 41 and shut the fuck up about it. But just to recap our running backs,
Number 7.
Mike Liberty, Snow Tribe.
Number 6.
Devon Gray, Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers.
Number 5.
Julio, right? Mora?
Julio Mora.
Good, I didn't fuck it up. Julio Mora, sick with it.
Number 4.
Amari Thomas, Watchman.
Number 3.
Willie Mayweather, Easterling, from the Patterson U.
Number 2.
Kwani Morgan, and our number 1 running back,
Number 1.
of the 2024 season, is the man that we're asking you to help us with his nickname, Anthony Mr. Incredible Wilkerson. There's already a Mr. Incredible. It can't be that. So, fans, we need you in the comments section. Let's hear it. You guys are always creative, except for that one fucking guy with the D's nuts. That's not going to work. I like guts, not nuts.
Got him.
But before we go, is there any other information for our fans, Mr. kind of pseudo Cosell?
Well, just to reiterate what was said earlier on the show for those that, well, first off, before I forget, even though it is a month in, once again, congratulations to the Palmers on their new bundle of joy, their baby girl. She is absolutely adorable. So, again, congratulations to the Palmers on their newest bundle of joy into the world, as their daughter was born a month ago, and she is.
You'll know what this is when I talk to you next time.
Oh, shit.
That's where your daughter got you wrapped already, my brother.
Oh,
yeah. Wrapped around the
like,
finger.
where's he going with that?
Hashtag girl dad. That's what that means.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
All right, but just to reiterate, folks, at the top of the show, we had mentioned that there will be no full-fledged Winter War, which we apologize for the
Hurts my
inconvenience.
soul.
But there will be a Winter War tournament on the 1st and 2nd of February. Again, information is at a7flnv.com, starting with the $1,000 cash prize. Now, it is A7 tackle rules with throw-off. 2 20-minute halves, each with a running clock, 45-second play clock for conversion, 45-second play clock for the throw-off, 5-minute half times, and you do get the 2-minute warning of each half. A7 tackle
20-minute
rules.
half times.
20-minute. Well, it says 2 minutes. It says 5-minute half time.
Oh,
2
it's a
minutes
5
for each
minute
half.
in between. Gotcha.
Yeah. A7 tackle rules, $1,000 team registration, 25 players max on a team, $250 added to the cash prize. Players who register by December the 28th, that is 3 Saturdays from now, the 28th, who qualify for free Nevada health insurance for 2025. A7 or equivalent uniforms required. No sticks, no chains, 20 yards, first down every 20 yards. So again, all this info you can look up at a7flnv.com again.
And this is the perfect situation, guys, not just for our Nevada guys to sign up, which if you're a little upset that there's not a full Winter War.
Those from the Northeast and the Midwest, if you want to come out and play.
Or wherever. Jonathan Clark, your boys, the real Sin City, could come out to Sin City and see what you're made of, and put the name on the line again. Sorry, Chris, I didn't do it all day, so I had to do it once. But if you're upset about it, then stop fucking up and go sign up, A, because you fucked up already. Don't make it a double fuck up. And B, this does create a unique opportunity. Now, is that opportunity going to be realized? I don't know. We'll try to see. I mean, I'd say I'll try, but I can't just show up by myself again. That's not going to work out.
But he will try.
I think OTT has better options potentially than me throwing for tons of yards and not enough points. But
you got the chance to make some money.
But it's
Get a
an
cash
opportunity to be featured in A7FL action in this time where everybody's saying, "Oh, I wish we did the fall like Vegas does." Well, now you can be
you're
a part.
Be on TV too.
Now you can be a part.
Yes, A streaming TV and commentary will be a part of this. So you never know who might be joining me and Chris in the booth. We might have some surprise guests. You never know.
Never know. You never
You
know.
You could always, come talk to me. I'll make sure your number's called.
No,
But
listen,
remember
man.
one thing. Remember one thing. If you want me to talk good about you, understand that if you're dog shit performance, I'm also going to talk bad about you.
We're looking at you, fucking Kamari Mickle. No,
Anyhow, we are way over time.
that was too much. My guy's working hard, and I appreciate the grind.
We are way over, but special thanks to Mizzle for chiming in at the tail end to give us his thoughts on Mr. Wilkerson, which, by the way, coming up after this show will be the next episode of the Mizzle and Dub Show. So don't go anywhere.
Wait.
Hey, by the way,
For a lot of you guys that might not be on here, there is a special birthday coming up here in a few hours.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's another bald-headed guy that's birthday is coming up, and it's not Chris Vera. So
it's definitely not me.
Oh, so wait. So
I ain't gonna
last
be
week
54.
we were talking about your 42nd birthday, right? And it's today.
tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Okay, well,
Well,
for you, Corey Hammond, when it is
In a couple
12:10,
hours.
when it's 12:10 Eastern Standard Time, I'll be official.
So Charlie Batch, fucking growing up in front of us. What a fucking.
Oh, dear God. Dear God.
Hey, Corey, for you, that's Uncle Charlie.
I need Miz
That's
next
Uncle
to me all the
Charlie.
time.
That's Uncle Charlie.
Mizzle just.
don't mess with it.
Nicole, come resuscitate your husband.
Yo,
He's
I need
falling,
him
he
around
can't-
more.
He's falling and he can't get up.
I don't think there's ever been a better hype man for my jokes than Miz. Yo, he loves the Deshaun W. You know what last name I'm about to say, Miz. He loved that joke too. But check out the Miz and Dub Show. They're going to talk about how the Oakland Raiders have the #1 pick, and they're going to ruin their franchise again by drafting Shadir Sanders. Maybe, I don't know. Good for them.
How do you know that if they have the #1 pick? How do you know they won't draft Hunt?
Good
I don't
God, no.
They'll make the wrong decision.
No.
Well, you're talking about Travis
shit.
Hunter?
I'd rather live and die with Shador Sanders than driving Travis Hunter.
Wait,
Okay,
you like
so if they-
Shadir Sanders as a number?
Well, no.
He
What I'm
complains
getting
about
at
playing
is-
for the Buffaloes against the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
For
He says, "Oh, they don't
everybody
block."
that says that we should draft
guys,
Travis Hunter,
argue
who's
that
gonna throw him
shit
the
on
fucking
this
ball?
one Dub Show. We're signing off on this show.
That's like the
Argue that shit on the
You
next
fucking
show.
brought it up. So how you gonna cut me off when it's brought up? What kind of bullshit is that? All right, I'm out of here.
Well, the fans will see you on your guys' show, so you guys enjoy. It's late. My wife's wrapping presents, so I guess I have to too. That sucks.
Special
I love
thanks
you guys, man.
Special
Love you
thanks to
guys.
Mizzle.
Yeah,
Special thanks to the
wrap-
fans chatting in as always. We will see you next week for episode 116. For Chris, for Mizzle, for Corey, I'm Dub. Yes, indeed. We will see you on the other side of the ball. And salute. And by the way, stay warm. Take care of yourself and each other. And with all that said, we'll see you
Luego.
Jesus
next week.
Christ, Warriors. Good to see you, Corey.
Good to see you too, Miss.
Hasta, fellas. All right, Dub.